J.K. Rowling directly uses her money and fame to boost active hate groups that lobby for the extermination of transgender people from society. She actively wines and dines with fascists who don paper masks with her face as a symbol against the trans menace during these protests. This includes supporting people like Matt Walsh, who advocates for the murder of doctors who give trans-affirming care, Posey Parker, who advocates for the extermination of trans people, Maya Forstater, who sued a company for not renewing her contract after she created a hostile work environment for trans people, and more. She's been cited in political hearings as anti-trans laws have pushed through, and she's actively fought against Scotland's self-ID law, which is now becoming an historical moment as the UK government have decided to block it. All thanks to Rowling and the people she befriends and supports. Similarly, she used her influence to push back against the UK government banning conversion therapy for trans people, a method of abuse that leads to trans people of all ages to develop trauma and often result in self-harm or suicide. She won on this, as the UK ended up only banning conversion therapy relating to sexuality, not being trans. This, in addition to her equivocating trans women to rapists on social media and on her blog as recent as last week, and her using the fact that she was abused by cis men in the past as an excuse for why she had to treat trans women this way. Also, late last year, she sicked her 14 million followers on Twitter after Jessie Earl, a trans woman who spoke about the video game Hogwarts Legacy and how she wished people won't buy it. Leading to Jessie having to spend Christmas holidays dealing with hate from Rowling's cabal, which remains ongoing even now. She was also asked last year how she can sleep well at night knowing that she's hurting so many people directly, including those who were fans of her work for over 20 years. Her reply was that she just has to look at her most recent check for royalties from the Harry Potter brand to sleep well. Every single time you buy a Harry Potter product, you are putting money in this woman's pocket. Every time you partake in the fandom actively on social media or in public, you are validating the fact that she can do this and remain a successful author with a successful franchise. But honestly, that's not what we think is the worst part, because she's already a millionaire and it's clearly one of the highest grossing media franchises ever created. No, what we find the worst is that it signals that your love for a piece of fiction, and potentially an author, is more important to you than making an inactive effort to not validate someone who is arguably pushing the world towards genocide. So, let's respond to the common argument that trans people hear when pointing this out. Hogwarts Legacy lets you be trans. It has a binary gender choice. They just call it, do you want to stay in the witch or wizard storm? And while body type and voice isn't locked to either, pronouns and language in general is. Even Call of Duty has more trans inclusivity in its character creation. But there's even a transgender character in the game. Said trans woman is named Serona Ryan, which, people have been quick to note is basically Sir Ryan on top of a siren being a wicked creature that seduces men as a trap to prey on them. Classic Rowling naming conventions emulated by the creators of the game, for sure. But what about the devs? Well, the devs have had salaries. They have already been paid, and many of them have already been let go and will continue to be let go no matter if the game is successful or not, because that's how AAA game development works. Hire at the start, cut down at the end. But the studio might not get more work. It's the studio that made Mortal Kombat Mythology, Sub-Zero, and Dragon Ball Z sagas. If that's gonna shut them down, then they were already heading there regardless. J.K. Rowling isn't involved in the game though. She doesn't have to be directly involved because it's literally based on her work and the influence she has on said work. This includes its poor take on systemic injustices and minorities. But the content in the game looks fine. A key part of the story is about stopping a goblin uprising, which involves at least one primary antagonist goblin that attempts to kidnap the player character, a child. Given the anti-Semitic nature of goblins in the series, but the developers probably didn't intend it that way. Well, then you can't claim death of the author elsewhere either. But just for reference, for most of the game's development, it had a Gamergate conspiracy theorist as creative lead. But the Gamergate dude was let go. Yeah, after it caused headlines. As has been confirmed since then, Warner Brothers knew about his conspiracy theory videos full of bigotry and hatred before hiring him. And even told him that he could keep the videos up. Well, Rowling is a millionaire, so what will my money even matter? Well, personal principles should matter to everyone. Not being part in directly helping fund hatred, no matter if it gets funded without you, should be a pretty low standard to hold to. What if I just pirate it? Then you're still helping maintain the validity of the franchise and telling Warner Bros. To keep it as a result. Not to mention the shit we already told you about what's in the game and how that's incredibly problematic. But I really want to play it. Then do so. But don't whine about people judging you for clearly disregarding so many vital things just for the sake of a video game. Be honest, embrace that you just don't fucking care and leave people alone instead of seeking justification. It should not be too much to ask that you simply don't play a video game. It's not even an active stance or doing something in solidarity to push back against trans hatred. It's an inaction. The lack of doing something. It's less than the bare minimum. And if you for some reason feel the need to explain to us that you've been wanting a game like this since you were a child, then let us be perfectly clear. We grew up reading the Harry Potter books, watching the Harry Potter movies, playing the Harry Potter games, even collecting the fucking Harry Potter trading card game. Despite this, we've spent most of the past decade not partaking in anything Harry Potter long before Rowling fully unmasked her horrible anti-trans agenda. If we can do that, and you can't even do it after she's become far more harmful, then you are the active problem there, not your childhood nostalgia. We realize this video is not going to go over well with some people. We also realize that it's more harsh than some people like to be about this subject matter, but that's where we stand. Special thanks to our monthly supporters: Juice, Luz Queen, Hikaru Yume, TB, Bean, Miss Nixie, Michael Rosenblum, Benjamin Schmidt, Haley Question Mark, Jacob Springwood, Sean Peterson, Spider Rebel News, Saiga Music, Kid Stubbs, Rum Ray, Rain, The Coyote, Moto, Alan C, Ahmed G, Tara T, Dale R, Beck, Rebecca L, RB, Beck Bell, Dominic V, and Simon L. If you want to support us, you can do so through the links in our description on Patreon and Coffee. And yeah, if you want to, you can like the video, subscribe. It's your choice.